And I know that I'm sounding somewhat like an arrogant jerk right now, but I'm somewhat frustrated about this, that we've created this type of interaction with our industry that essentially it's what's good for everyone else when it's good for everyone else. And I just don't see that as a sustainable business model. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you may be in your day. I'm not sure what day you guys are listening to this at this point, but if it's in the morning, good morning. If it's in the afternoon, good afternoon. And if it is in the evening, good evening. Hope you guys are having a good week. It's been a good week. We are rolling into summer here, starting to warm up, wrapping up softball season. We need rain in New Jersey bad. It's been a few weeks where we haven't gotten rain, so my allergies are absolutely terrible. They got so bad last week that I started taking terrible. That I started taking Benadryl, which doesn't happen that often. I take a daily allergy medication just for seasonal allergies, but it's been so bad, and we have not gotten any rain. Um, that it's just so dry, and the pollen is just sitting on everything that this past weekend I was taking Benadryl because I couldn't breathe. My eyes were basically swelling up and I was just miserable. We this past weekend we had a softball tournament for Selby. They're on a 10U travel team, and it was a good weekend. The weather was beautiful. Other than the allergies, they ended up going 4-1. So they played 2 games on Saturday and they did well in them. So they went into Sunday with the number 1 seed and they made it to the finals. They played 2 games, a quarterfinals game that they won, semifinals game that they won, and then the finals somewhat got away from. We're a better team than them, I believe. We've already beat them once this season. We took an early the other team took an early lead, and I think our girls were just tired at that point. Sunday evening was the finals game, and they had played 4 games already between Saturday and Sunday. And there's not that many girls that on the team that there was a ton of rest. So we were at the fields from morning Saturday until Sunday night, and I think they just got tired as soon as we went down. And it wasn't even by a lot, but we went down in the finals game, and I don't think they could recover from that. They just, my personal opinion, they played better than they have for 4 games, above average, and in their finals game they played below average. So all in all, couldn't really ask for too much more from them. I think when you look at big picture and stand back, they did better than everyone anticipated. Definitely disappointing to lose in the finals to a team that we already beat. I really wanted them to get those first place trophies, but it didn't happen. So it's an interesting thing to coach your kids and help out with that, and manage not only the players but the parents and who's playing. And when you're looking to win and when you're in a tournament, you're looking to build up confidence and still confidence in these girls, treat everyone fairly, get everyone playing time, but at the same time you want to win because it's a tournament and winning's fun, and when people are losing it's not fun. So it's a difficult experience. I've enjoyed it. I enjoy the girls. They're all great. I like the relationship I have with all of them, with the other coaches. But a good weekend all in all. Happy with the outcome. Disappointed that we didn't take home the gold, but they got some big medals for second place, and I think that they were all pretty pleased with their performance. So that was our weekend this weekend. Excuse me. We I'm recording this Tuesday, June 6th. I am going in for a minor surgery this afternoon, so I'll be able to get a few more of these recorded the rest of this week because I'm going to lay low for the rest of the week. I'm starting a new job next week with a designer out of Philadelphia. They're in the Bach building in South Philly, Design Manifest. Actually in Medford, it's going to be a first floor remodel. kitchen remodel, the exterior of the home stucco. We're relocating some windows, closing some other windows up. So we're going to be patching a bunch of stucco on the exterior, all new floors in the kitchen, refinishing the rest of the floors on the first floor, repainting the first floor. So a bigger, decent sized job. I'm starting that. By the time you hear this, I would have already just started that. No, actually, excuse me. I'm recording this late this week. So you will hear this maybe tomorrow. I'm starting that job next week. I'm excited about that. I have a guy, Justin, coming in to help me with that, and then I'll be subcontracting a fair portion of that job out and managing it. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll share some of those details and document that as much as possible on Instagram. So if you're not following along, check out my stories, check out my posts. I'll be documenting that, documenting the house build and everything else that's going on in my life and business. So on to the blog post today. The catalyst for this blog post was I'm getting a lot of emails for work. I know things have slowed down, but I'm still continuing to get emails, and I don't. Maybe it was just a few emails in a row where people. It's not customers. It's not return customers. It's newer customers, and it's just very obvious that they're reaching out to a ton of people. And between them asking, just hey, want to know when you can come out. No interaction with them, but hey, just wanted to reach out to you, looking to get this, and this done. Wanted to know when you could meet and give me pricing. Very frustrating to say the least that's just the standard for our industry. And then I had another interaction with a customer where it's like, hey, I could possibly come out to look at your job. I usually am not doing that at this point, but it was a referral from somebody, and the hey, like I might have time at the end of next week, and they were generous enough to say like, hey, these are the times that work for us, but it was 6 p.m. on this night, 7 p.m. at this night. And it got me thinking, like, why do people think that I want to come, or that, like, more importantly, not just me, but I mean, I'm thinking with regard to me because that's the only person I can think for, but our industry, why people think that we want to come out at 7 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock at night or after work, right? Like, this is our job. And for everyone else, you have work hours. Like, we work on people's homes from 8 in the morning till 5. um give or take a half hour here or there, but residential is generally going to be like 8 till 4:30, 8 till 5. Why do we want to work after that? Why is that the norm within our industry? Why is that the standard within our industry? And a lot of it comes down to that's just what we do as a business. We're all small businesses. We only make money when we're on the job or when the tool belt is on. So a lot of people do their estimates and their meetings after work, and it's very frustrating to me that if somebody wants us to come work on their house, why are they not asking us when's good for you, and assuming it's between the normal work hours that we should be working between 8 and 5, 8 and 6. Why do we want to go to their house at 7 o'clock when we should be home with our family, when we should be unwinding, when we have to be at the job the next day? It's frustrating to me that as an industry, we're perpetuating that by continuing to do so. And that's the norm. Somebody I've never spoke with before just gets a hold of me, and they assume that the norm is to meet at their house after work. And I think of other people who work, or people who own businesses, and a restaurant, a doctor, an accountant, whatever it may be. You're not reaching out to an accountant and say, hey, I want to get my taxes done for this year. um, I know you're probably doing your books during the day. Can you come over at 8 o'clock tomorrow night? Like, no, you would take off from work, or you would leave at lunchtime, or you would make arrangements to fit within their hours of operation, which are typically going to be more normal and standard hours. So I think it comes down to us needing to work more than 40 hours a week and be on the job for 40 hours a week, and then do all of the extras and supplementals after that. And it's an industry wide issue. And I think that we all need to do a better job of standardizing what we're doing and being able to charge accordingly so that we don't have to work 60, 80 hours a week, that we can work 40 hours a week, or that we could have an overhead and a business model that supports having somebody on staff that is paid to go out during the day. Um, but we're in a price driven industry, which is all part of this issue that I'm seeing. And that's what people expect. And that's just been the norm for so long. So while I've gotten away from that, I don't think that a lot of other people have. And I've had to implement a lot of changes to be able to afford to do that. And it's been a lot of work, and it's not the easiest thing. And if I were doing business the way that I were doing 5 years ago, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I'm hoping that everyone can get on board and at least start making changes to normalize what how we operate, and step away from what I call a race to the bottom within our industry, because I don't think that we're really helping anyone out but our consumers by catering to their timelines and what they need when, in order that's how we're bringing value to these jobs and these customers. So at the end of the day, I am frustrated with the customers because this is their interaction with me, but realistically, it's not their fault. This is just the way that we have operated for so long. So this is how they engage with customers, and they have an expectation that this is the way it is because we're allowing them to do that. We're enabling the behavior. We are catering to their needs when they need them, in order to bring value to this relationship. So at the end of the day, although I'm frustrated with customers, I should be more frustrated with myself, with ourselves, with our industry, because it's really not their fault. This is what they've always known, and this is the way that it's been done for a really long time. Let's look at my notes here. So I'm sure that a lot of you guys get these inquiries, which I tend to get a lot of emails where it's somebody saying they've had no interaction with me. I don't know who they are. It's not coming from a referral. They found me from somewhere, but they don't know who I am, and they come to me and say, "Hey, just wanted to reach out. I'm trying to get an estimate on some work we want done at our house," or "Hey, I'm getting a hold of you because I'd like to get on your schedule for you to come out and give us an idea what you think to our job, or we want to get, when you could give us an estimate." And that is the norm. People are able to get a hold of us and not pay us any money. There's no compensation there, and we're going to make time out of our day or after hours to go to their house and look at their job and then offer insight, offer our expertise, as to what we would do, and then go home and measure at that job if we have to draw some things up, touch base with subs, gather all of this pricing, and then deliver it to the customer, only for them to choose somebody who costs less money than us. Where they got a hold of us, they didn't know who we were, what we did, they didn't ask any of the right questions. So why are we going to their house just to provide them for a price, hoping that we fit their schedule and hope that we fit their agenda and their program and land that job? So what do you feel would happen if every one of us charged $150 to $300 for every meeting or consultation that got a hold of us via email? So somebody got a hold of you, called you, left you a voicemail, texted you, got a hold of you via Instagram, your website, whatever it may be, and said, "Hey, I want you to come out to look at my project." And you said, "Okay, it's $150 for me to do that, or $300 for me to come out and then provide you with pricing." They would probably say no. Um, but what if that was just the standard for our industry? So rather than everyone giving free estimates, it was $300. I guarantee that people would not be going and getting 4 or 5 different prices. But right now, there's no reason why people shouldn't call 5 different contractors, why they shouldn't reach out to somebody that they have no idea who they are, what they do, just to get a price, just to see where it lands, to see where everyone else is. Hey, we got 3 prices. They were all over the place. So let's get a hold of 2 more people and see where it's closest to. There's a lot of issues with this, but they should be getting a hold of people who they know the type of work they do, that fits their aesthetic, that fits their schedule, that fits their budget, it's not all the same. It's not apples to apples. Everyone specializes in a different thing. Everyone does a different type of work. Everyone has a different pricing model, overhead, all of that. But you should be finding those people. But if you charge $150 to show up to somebody's house, I don't feel that people would be as apt to call you to say, "Hey, would you come over to my house?" Right? If you go to the doctor, whether you're sick or not, you just want to talk to them about some symptoms that you've been having. You can't go to 3 different doctors and say, "Hey, these are my symptoms," and then I'm gonna choose which doctor is going to treat me based on my program, whether it's pricing, who can fit me in first. You're gonna call those doctors and say, "Hey, what's your availability? Does my insurance cover them?" Before you go and waste any of their time, because it would cost you money to do that, and it wouldn't make sense to go to 5 6 different people to see pricing. You'd find the doctor that you wanted to use because of your program and your reasons and your agenda, and then you would select a doctor. And I feel that if we were to do that, people would not be as apt to be wasting our time. I think that this would change our lifestyle. You would be looking at less work. There'd be less leads that come across your plate. And I think that there's an argument there, right, where people, a certain scale of companies need leads. Um, but the quality of lead is what I feel is the most important. It's not the quantity of the leads, because you could get 100 leads and you're going to get land 5 of those jobs. Where if you went and looked at 20 of those, you're still only going to land 5 of those jobs. So essentially, at the end of the day, you're costing yourself less time, less money, less headache. Another ask that's been frustrating me of customers is what I briefly spoke on earlier about when they want you to look at their project. And it's generally, "Hey, can you come at 6? I'll be home from work at 5:30." Or my kid has dance recital on Fridays between 6 and 7. So if you could come here at 5 or at 7:15, we can make that work. Or I have to be in the office by 9. Can you get here by 8? People want you to come look at their projects based around their schedule. Where if I wanted to tap into somebody's resources, their network, their expertise, their experience, I would fit myself into their schedule, right? If I needed to um hire a fitness coach, I would say, "Hey, what appointments do you have available?" Um if it's during the day, I would need to set my life up so that I could make that work. I wouldn't expect them. They say, "Hey, normally we are we're doing personal training between 8 and 5." I wouldn't say, "Hey, well, you know what? I work between 8 and 5, so I need you to come in at 7." I would say, "Okay, what do I have to do on my end to fit into your schedule?" And a lot of customers don't do that because we've never required customers to do that. It's just bend over backwards for customers. Bring value to this relationship through bending over backwards and being a chameleon and adapting to every single unique consideration, constraint, and requirement that customers have. And every single customer is different, rather than create a system and a standard within your business that, "Hey, Tuesdays, we go on estimates between noon and 5. So here are the Tuesdays that we have available. Here's the times that we have available." The customer says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I work Tuesdays." "I don't know what you want me to do. I work every other day. I work Tuesdays also. I'm working Tuesdays. So if you want me, like, why should I come after work or miss a softball game for my daughter to fit your schedule when you may or may not hire me in the first place?" And I don't want to sound conceited in this, but it's more of a standard within our industry. This isn't me just saying, "Hey, this is my work. You have to fit these hours." Obviously, there's considerations. Every customer is different, every situation is different. But if you look at a restaurant, right? These are our hours. If they really love your New England clam chowder and it's their favorite thing ever, and they want it at 9:30 p.m. and you close at 7, like, you're not gonna open up the diner's not gonna open up and give you their New England clam chowder at 9:30 because, like, they have a standard hours of operation, and if you want that soup, you have to go within those hours and you make that happen. If not, you don't get the soup. Like, it's so simple, but we don't do that, and we never have done that. So everyone just works after work and goes on estimates after work, and it's when it's good for other people. And it's that what bothers me the most is there's just zero consideration for that. It's not even like, hey, when would you like to come over? It's, this doesn't work for me because we have dance recital. I have to work this day, and I go and do Pilates this day. Um, and I know that I'm sounding somewhat like an arrogant jerk right now, but I'm somewhat frustrated about this, that we've created this type of interaction with our industry, that essentially it's what's good for everyone else when it's good for everyone else. And I just don't see that as a sustainable business model. And I don't see that how that holds up any sort of integrity or value within our industry when we're just catering to everyone else. And I also don't think that a lot of people value what we do as much, where it's like, hey, if they can't come during my hours when, I'm off from work, or they don't want to come at 7 p.m., then I'll go find somebody else. Where it's like, hey, if you want to hire TRG, or if you want to hire NS Builders, or if you want to hire Chris Murray to do your cabinets for your kitchen, or whoever that may be, you're going to have to fit into their schedule. And if you don't, or if you're not willing to do that, well, then you're not going to get those people to come work for you. And I feel as though if our industry, the value was based on what we do rather than our price or how soon we could get to somebody, and it was really, there was a personality to our work, and the value was conveyed and displayed through our ability to perform and execute specific details with a specific timeline, that it would be completely different than how we interact with customers right now. I feel that our relationships with customers are based on us being a commodity industry, that if TRG can't do it, the guy who lives 2 doors down who has a contracting business can do it. And if that guy can't do it, there's a guy across town who could do it. It's basically everyone's the same, every product's the same, and we're just going to pick price or who can get in our house the soonest. And that's where we are failing ourselves. Um, we're not differentiating. We are not requiring and demanding customers um, to do a little bit more homework before they hire us, and we are bending over backwards and adapting to each and every unique situation and experience and interaction with customers. And I don't feel that that does our industry any justice. It's the same thing as providing designs to customers. Early on in my career, I don't know how many cabinet jobs or built-ins I drew up that a customer either just didn't get back a hold of me, or took that design and then had somebody else build it. Where, shame on me, I should not have handed that over for free. I shouldn't have done that work for free. But the fact that we're putting all this effort in and giving away our time that could be used elsewhere, or spent on free time or hobbies or family or personal development, personal growth, or just on your business for paying customers, we're giving away all of this for free. And that's the norm, and that's the problem. And we are perpetuating that, which is, it's just magnifying and further driving this race to the bottom that I feel we are underway. And that's not to say that everyone does this, and it's not to say that every customer is this way, but I would say that in my experience, the overall um, picture of our industry is, yeah, people come and they do free estimates, and people come and they do this after work. And if you want to have a contracting business, or you want to be a remodeling contractor, you want to be a builder, hey, that's what you have to do. That's just the way it is. Where excuse me one sec here. If I look at it this way, right? If I had to if it was not me going on these estimates or meeting with these customers, or it was not me drawing up these designs, I would be paying for them, right? I would hire a drafter to draft up a cabinet rendering. I would be paying for that. So I would essentially be going out of my pocket to serve this customer with no I'm there there's I'm not getting anything back from that. There's no reciprocation. There's no guarantee that that job is my job. So why am I doing that? And if that's the norm within our industry, then we need to build that cost into the cost of our services. And I don't feel the customers are willing to absorb that cost, whether it's an upfront cost, hey, it's $300 for me to come to your house, or whether it's, hey, I do 30 estimates a year that I may or may not get. So say that I'm going to get 20 of them, or sorry, say I'm going to land 10 of them. So that's 20 of them that are on my own dime, and I want to charge $300. So that's $6,000 that I'm going to build into my overhead, in my hourly cost, or built into however many hours, however you're sorting out your rate or your hourly cost or your markup, you're going to build that and absorb that into your overhead, so that the time that you're spent, you're actually getting paid for. So now you have a higher rate. And people are not willing to pay that higher rate. So whether you're absorbing that cost and then building it into an overhead, or your hourly rate, whatever scale of your business is, or whether you're saying, hey, it's $300 up front, people aren't willing to pay that. So until we build a business model or an industry that's able to pay for that, I think we are shooting ourselves in the foot. Um, it's the same thing as me paying a drafter. If I have somebody on staff that is going on estimates, meeting with customers for potential leads, they're getting paid for that. They're not going for free. So if I'm going on them, why am I going? Why is it intelligent, smart? Why does it behoove me to bring value to this relationship? Because I can go and visit these customers and meet with them for free after hours at 7 o'clock. That 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 doesn't do anything for me. That maybe I get a job out of it, but like, why is that the best way to bring value to our industry, to our jobs, to our employees, to our customers? I don't feel that it is. If I had to pay somebody, right, they leave work at 5 o'clock, they go home, they eat dinner with their family. Hey, you have to leave at 7:30 to go meet with this customer 2 towns away, and it's an hour meeting, and it takes 45 minutes to get there. That's an hour and a half, 2.5 hours extra work that day, that's above and beyond their 8 hours. So I'm not only paying them their normal rate, I'm paying them overtime, whether it's time and a half, double time. So if I were to be paying that and I weren't getting that job, I'm just losing money. These customers aren't paying for that. I'm losing money. And again, this is on us. This isn't on our customers. We have normalized this race to the bottom. We have normalized the way that we do business, that people expect this of us. And if we don't do that, if we don't play the game, then they're going to find somebody else. Where I feel that if we are able to bring more to the table, if we don't give away our services, our expertise, our experience for free, then customers are going to value our time differently, because we value our time differently. Um, and I really think it's important for the overall health of our industry, with all of the owner operators that we have in the small businesses, and we don't have these big companies with massive overheads. There's a few of them, but overall, our industry, residential construction, is smaller companies, less than a dozen people, less than half a dozen people. I would venture to say that most of the people are 1-2 man shows, because they couldn't make any money working for somebody else, or they wanted to do things better. I mean, that's why I went into business for myself. And a lot of younger guys that I talk to, they either aren't making enough money working for somebody, or they want to be able to have an opportunity to do better work, or get better jobs, and they don't have an opportunity doing that for somebody else because everyone is playing this game and fitting the mold and catering to this commoditization of our industry. Um, I think that we need to do a better job of um, displaying professionalism and upholding professionalisms, that we need to say, hey, the residential construction industry works from 8 to 5, 8 to 6, and that's it. Like, it's just a standard that if you want to get an estimate, you call. They have certain days a week that they go out on estimates during the day, and that's just what you do. It's not, hey, I can't leave work to meet you to look at a project at my house for something that I want to do to make my life more enjoyable. Like, what? If I need to go buy a new lawnmower to mow my lawn, I'm not calling up the lawnmower store and being, "Hey, I work till 6. Can I come in at 7:30 and look at a lawnmower?" It's like, "No, I need a lawnmower. I need to make time in my schedule to go shop for a lawnmower." And why is that different for us? Like, I need a kitchen. Why am I not making time in my schedule to meet with contractors or go visit them where it's convenient for them to shop for a kitchen? The grocery store, like, I need a steak for dinner. I'm going to call up Acme or ShopRite and be like, "Hey, I work until 11:30 tonight. It's odd hours tonight, but, like, you think you can stay open till midnight when I can get there and grab a steak?" It's like, "No. You either have to get up early and go, or you have to leave at lunch break." That's just, we cater to everyone at every expense to us, and I don't feel that it's sustainable, and I don't feel that it's smart. And I understand that I'm coming off very hot right now, and I'm frustrated, and this isn't even me wasting my time. It's just the engagement from customers and the interaction. And I realize that this is normal, and this is normal because of me, this is normal because of you, this is normal because of everyone who's listening to this, either did this or just got into this industry and assumed that it was the norm, so they've continued down that line. And I don't think that we're really serving ourselves. I feel that we're serving our customers, and this is how we're bringing value to our customers. And I feel as though if we were a little more professional and a little more standardized and a little more selfish with our time and valued our time more, and brought value to these relationships and these business interactions more so than, hey, I can be a chameleon and fit into your budget and your timeline and your schedule, and we'll make this work. If we all did a better job of saying, hey, no, this is the standard. It costs this much for me to come out. It's this, this, and this. We don't come look at jobs, like, we don't competitively bid jobs. If that were the standard, people would have to work around that, and we would be able to bring value to these relationships in a much better way, rather than just providing these concessions to our customers. So I think that I'm ready to hop off of my soapbox here. um just a little frustrated with this. Again, the catalyst or the impetus for this conversation was just a bunch of emails and phone calls with people saying, "Hey, when can you come out and look at my job?" Where, I don't know, if it were me, I would email them or call them, send them a bunch of pictures, be like, "Hey, this is what's going on at my house. This is when I was hoping to get it done. Um, I have no idea what this would cost, but if it's like an hourly rate, if it's a timeline, if you do it by day, do you have any idea what this would cost me? I'm not trying to hold you to a number." I would approach the conversations more so than in more of a manner where I was understanding of this business owner's time, that I wanted to engage with them, right? That I wanted them to do the work because I understood what they did, and not so much as, hey, I'm reaching out to you to see when you can come to my house to give me an estimate. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't like, why me? Why did you get a hold of me? Is it just because you saw my name somewhere? How many other people did you get a hold of? Why? Like, why are you getting a hold of me? Is it because of what I do, or is it just because you're looking to get a hold of 5 people to get you a number so that you can save yourself money or find out what this project could cost? If that's what you want to do, I'm perfectly fine with that. But just tell me that. Tell me, "Hey, I haven't done this before, but I was always under the assumption that we get a hold of 3 or 4 people and see where the prices are. So we're reaching out to you to see if you want to come look at our job and bid it." And at that point, I'll engage with that person all day long because they're being honest and they're telling me, "Hey, we don't know how to go about this process, but this is how we assume that it should be." And I'll explain to them, "Hey, like, I know a lot of people work that way, but that's not how I work. If you want to work with us, this is how we're going to do it, and I'm more than willing to walk you through that, but I'm not willing to just come out and price this because you wanna see where my price falls in line and then make a decision off that, because that's not what I wanna bring to the table." Um, so I think that customers can do a better job of being customers, but that starts and that ends with us. Again, we're perpetuating all of this. We are the reason this is happening, and we are the reason that we are enabling customers to treat us this way and to continue treating us this way. And we're solely responsible for that until we step up, until we unite, and we create a standard within our industry that this is not the norm, and this is not how we're valuing. The sign on the business card or the ad or the truck that says free estimates. I don't know who that's serving, other than our customers. I don't think that it's doing a good job for us and everyone else. And again, I don't want this to come off as me being arrogant, pompous asshole. I'm frustrated, and I've gotten away from this, but I still am frustrated that this is the first point of contact with customers. This is how they want to engage with us. And it's not really even frustrated for me because I'm not willing to serve these customers. I'm more frustrated for the 25-year-old me, or the 23-year-old who's starting his or her business, or the 30-year-old who's built their business this way and can't get out from under themselves, or the 50-year-old who is struggling to make ends meet and doesn't ever see retirement, and is still running around after work, busting his or her tail to try and provide for their family because they know that they're only making money when they have a tool belt on. This is who I'm frustrated for, because they have not been able to get out from underneath of this, or defend, or uh defy the stigma within our industry. So I'm frustrated for those people more so than for myself. I'd like to hear your opinion on this. I'd love for you guys to shoot me an email, to reshare this on your Instagram feed, with follow it up. Share the midweek and then follow it up with either a post of your own or a story of your own with your thoughts on it. Am I crazy for thinking this? Am I just an asshole for thinking this? Am I out of line? Is this the way it's always going to be? Are the customers right? Am I wrong? Should we be treating our customers differently? Am I just completely and utterly out of line here? I'd love to hear it, and I'd love to hear your insight and your feedback. And this goes for customers as well. I know that not everyone who listens to this or endorses our podcast is in the construction industry, is a tradesman or woman. There's people who are hobbyists who hire people. There's people who are just customers who are looking how to figure out how to hire somebody or to learn more about what we're doing. So I'd love to hear from you guys, get your feedback. I'm obviously fired up and passionate about this, but let me know. Again, I am going to be a little bit slow the rest of the week, starting a new job next week. So I'll bring you guys on board for that and see what's going on. But as always, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you listening. If you haven't, hop on the website. It is www.moderncraftsman.co. Check out the blog posts online, because the podcast recording and the blog post, they're similar, but I'm not going verbatim from my written blog post to my podcast. So there's other tidbits there, points of reference, examples, analogies that I feel these together will supplement each other and provide a lot more value than just one versus the other. But regardless, you don't have time for the blog post, you don't have time for the podcast, try one or the other. Ideally, you're getting to both of them. I think that it'll serve you well. Again, let me know what you think. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you guys listening to me rant and rave about what is on my mind today. Have a good rest of the week. I will catch up with you guys next week. Hopefully everything's going good with you guys and girls, and summer is coming in full swing. You're enjoying the longer days and the warmer weather, and hopefully we get some rain here soon. All right, guys, I'll catch you next week.